private wealth can change the world in so many different ways. And that, I would say, is one of the greatest opportunities financial advisors have to make a difference.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the FT studio for our latest installment of the PWM Tea Break. Our special guest today is a regular visitor to the UK from New York City, where she created her own eponymous consultancy. She is known by her thousands of social media followers as the Digital Diva. April Rudin, it's great to have you back with us.
Always great to be here, Yuri, and thanks for the sunshine. London's treating me well so far.
And what kind of tea have you chosen today, April?
I actually don't know because I abdicated that to you. So what kind of tea are we having?
We are actually having English breakfast tea. What does it taste like to you?
I'll let you know. It tastes like Diet Coke.
Which your famous leader is known to drink on a regular basis.
Exactly. Delicious. You make a great cup of tea.
You've come to this nation of tea drinkers. We're all a bit miserable at the moment. I mean, Brexit has been devastating for the economy. The youngsters can't get the jobs. Your president's over here playing golf, telling us how to run the country. And the only good news that the women are actually doing much better than the men, because the Lionesses have won the Euros football tournament in Switzerland. So it's interesting, there's a Swiss bank, Lombard Odier, one of the most innovative Swiss banks, and they're actually investing a lot in serving UK entrepreneurs.
People have an idea, and there's really no barrier to going to market on it. You know, same for me. I started my business 17 years ago. I had not thought of myself as, being a particular entrepreneur, but I was able to make my own website, start marketing myself on social media. There are plenty of people who have aspirations or a good idea, and there's no barrier. So not only for Lombard Odier and not only for the UK, I think entrepreneurs are going to be one of the largest growing segments that wealth managers should focus in on.
Well, we spoke to some entrepreneurs recently in Monaco when we run into each other at the Fund Forum there earlier in the summer, and one of them, Martin Gilbert, who set up what became one of the world's largest asset managers, Aberdeen, and now he's chairman of Revolut and Neobank, which is in our newspapers every day, and he's very much financing these climate change initiatives as well, the energy security. But Martin, he's kind of a old school leader, really, despite being an entrepreneur. And then we saw the newer guys, the likes of Jose Minaya at Bank of New York, with their softer skills and their empathy. And you've been doing a lot of interviews, April, for your new book about wealth management. Did you see this kind of handover between the old school and the new school of the leaders in all your interviews?
For Wealth Management with a Difference, which is being published by Wiley, Nick Rice and I interviewed more than 80 global leaders around the world.
I remember Nick when he used to work here, a curly-haired, very earnest youth, and I think that's more interviews than he did in his entire time here.
It might be because I was his source, one of his sources. That's how I actually met Nick. I think that there's actually room for everyone. The baby boomers and the silent generation is not so silent. Using Martin Gilbert as an example, plenty of people who would have founded and been CEO of Aberdeen would simply be floating around on their sailboats and not be working so hard. One of the reasons and one of their strategies at Revolut for onboarding newer, younger clients is having these smaller, account sizes. So that really is their strategy to growing, and that speaks to the entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs might have no money or a small amount of money in small account sizes now, but they are banking on those being their clients of the future, and the client acquisition costs for someone like that is much lower, and then having those clients over time as lifetime clients. Now, on the other hand, someone like Jose Minaya, who's new to BNY, I think does represent a little bit of a different personality type, keeping in mind that he's running both asset and wealth management. It does require a certain amount of IQ, but also EQ, wealth management. And I think that's one of Jose's strengths, is really the EQ side.
And another leader that we both know well, Vincent Leconte at BNP Paribas Wealth Management. We've just profiled him. I think you dropped in to see him in Paris on your way here. Big expansion plans for Vincent. Again, working with entrepreneurs in Germany, in Asia. I mean, he really epitomizes this kind of sophisticated, cultured European leader. Would you like to see more people, more leaders like him in the US, where you've got some very polarizing leaders at the moment?
Vincent certainly has the means to go on a ship, go to the beach, and retire. And he is, of course, just as energetic. We spoke about their recent acquisition in Germany. He's very excited about that. They have a huge business in Asia. For Vincent and for BNP Paribas, they also have sort of a soft side too. So having been to their offices, they have a sustainable office. And I think they were one of the very first banks to have something like that. It's certainly miles away from the mahogany desks, the leather chairs, of old that financial advisors and wealth management firms used to fancy themselves as.
We've had a couple of questions for you because I think people were tipped off that you'd be joining us today. And there was Betsy Cohen from the US. She describes herself as a philanthropic futurist, which sounds like a great way to make a living. And Betsy is asking you, April, what is the best way for grandparents to engage with their grandchildren to discuss philanthropy and indeed investments in a way that can help change the world? I mean, that's a great question.
People are too formal in the way that they address topics like that. And I would say imbuing that in everyday conversation as a grandparent or as a parent is really the best way to do it. So even the tea that we buy, where did it come from? Who picks the tea leaves, right? Your clothes, where are they made? The food, the people working in a restaurant that you might be in. It's not one conversation, but it's many conversations over time, just to sensitize your kids to the fact that there is something called philanthropy. And if you are a wealthy family, that actually private wealth can change the world in so many different ways. And that, I would say, is one of the greatest opportunities financial advisors have to make a difference.
I know that we'll carry on featuring you regularly in our columns, and we've got our Wealth Tech Awards coming up, which you'll be judging. So that will be an opportunity to reunite with some old friends as well. And we definitely wish you all the best with your book on your continued European tour.
Our book is available on pre-order now on Amazon, and it will be published by Wiley in October.
And if you have any more questions, ladies and gentlemen, you'd like to put to our guests, please look at our website, pwmnet.com, where there's a handy tab to send them in. So we're not getting left behind in this digital revolution. And I look forward to seeing you all on our famous green sofas for next week's episode of the PWM Tea Break.